Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so this is a bonus reading for Taurus, and our card is the moon, which is very timely as we are right in the new moon. And I think the moon's in Cancer as we speak. Okay, so let's take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay. So we have the number 205. 205. We have what looks like a woodpecker. I was like, what are they called? A woodpecker. Okay, right here. You can see perched atop, and it looks like the face of a jack-o'-lantern. So the woodpecker, one that is beloved to my heart. The little ones, the big ones. We have big ones where I live. Well, we have a variety of sizes, but they're called the pileated woodpecker. And they're huge. They're actually, like, when you see them, you're like, dang, that is a big bird. And when they go pecking at the tree, it is quite loud. You can hear it throughout the whole yard for sure. You know, when I see this as a symbol, I know that it is somebody who is very focused. They have a lot of determination, right? If you can think of a woodpecker, they are pecking holes in wood so that they can get to, the bugs, right? The grubs and things that are kind of eating away at those trees. So, definitely symbolically somebody who really will put in the work, right? Isn't going to be deterred by having to really apply themselves. So I feel like this is definitely a Taurus trait, right? You definitely will go full speed ahead if it is something that you care about, if it is something that is important to you. There's no distracting you. There is no, making you feel like you can't do this, so you just give up. No, a Taurus is going to show up and do the dang thing. So I see that and I know that, right? Now, I look over here, we have that jack-o'-lantern. So immediately I'm thinking, like, this is a person that loves Halloween, maybe. Now, listen, it is so funny because we're just into July. We just had the 4th of July here in the United States like 2 days ago. I'm already seeing signs for, what is that place called? The Spirit Halloween store. Shout out to that place. Although I don't really shop there. I just have to say, I usually shop at the knockoff one. Whatever the Fugazi version is, that's the one I go to because I can afford that one. But yeah, already the vibes, right, of Halloween kind of rising in the atmosphere. We're already looking forward to that. And it looks pretty joyous here. So I do think you are somebody who enjoys kind of some of the more macabre and spooky and maybe creepy things. You know, maybe, you know, who is emerging into that is my daughter. She just loves scary stuff. I don't know. Even when she was like little, she used to watch this show, and a big shout out. I'm a huge fan, by the way. I really am. And they're YouTube stars, Steve and Maggie. It's a kid's show, and they have a lot of Halloween episode it's not just little kids, it's like really toddlers, you know, and young kids are watching this stuff. So it's not really super narrative, kind of linear, you know, thinking or whatever, but it's kind of just them doing silly stuff. And so my daughter, she loved that show. And all of the Halloween stuff, big thing in our household. So I see this and I'm like, yeah, I feel that. We absolutely are feeling the same way. So yeah, definitely, I think looking forward to that. I also feel like maybe there is some aspect of, you know, maybe Halloween or just kind of fun, creepy, horror type stuff that you are involved in actually creating. You might be somebody who throws like a big party, or you know, maybe you do like the whole haunted house, or maybe it is that you are going to be traveling. Maybe you're somebody that's really into going to haunts, or, you know, I don't know, something. But I feel like because it's perched on the jack-o'-lantern, maybe this is you preparing for your, you know, All Hallows Eve escapades. Maybe you are somebody who's, you know, quite a magical atmosphere maker, right? Somebody who creates an environment that feels, you know, like whatever it is that you are putting together. And I, for one, have always been so, yeah, I don't mind saying it, kind of envious of people who can do these really kind of immersive, like art installations, or there's that kind of theater. It's immersive theater where you go into the play and you interact with the characters, and it's kind of playing out around you. This kind of augmented reality feeling, or alternate reality. And yeah, I don't know. You might be one of these people that really can create that kind of interesting environment of some kind, right? And so let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay, so we have the Scorpion up here. Okay, in the hand of a person here. We also have, it looks like a pot. Cooking. That's what I'm getting from this. Some kind of cooking. And I'm really of this thought. It keeps coming up in the readings. Scorpio, Taurus, Scorpio. In the Scorpio readings, Taurus keeps coming up. So I really feel like there's I am finding through my readings that there are these unseen kind of connections between signs that I never really thought about. You know, to be really honest with you, I did not think a lot about people in terms of their zodiac signs. And actually, when I started my channel, I didn't read by zodiac sign, because I don't know. I thought, well, I'm just going to do readings, general readings. And then, you know, whoever kind of finds the reading, they, you know, maybe the title will stand out to them or whatever. Now, the titles are different than they used to be. I know they're a lot more kind of, I don't know, sensational or whatever. It's we do these things for the algorithm. So, but yeah, so I started doing by zodiac signs. So I started really learning about zodiac signs, learning about their different placements, you know, what they kind of, how they interact with each other, how, you know, and I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm finding that there are just certain connections that are undeniable. And for me, I am really noticing there's a real connection between Taurus and Scorpio people, which makes sense to me. Very powerful, strong-willed, individual people, very creative, but obsessive. That's the thing here. There's an underlying obsession, and kind of really focused on certain things that come up in your life. You find them and you love them and you focus on them. And it can become a fixation. It can become something that you master. It really kind of, I think, you know, it varies, and sometimes it is, and it's obsession, obsessive love for something. And at other times it's like, yeah, you're just very good at what you're doing. You are masterful in your movements. And so I'm looking at this and I'm feeling like there is a connection to cooking here. It might be that you're really into cooking. You know, maybe you are in the profession, maybe you're in the industry. But I do think that there is kind of a kindredness with your Scorpio person, whoever that is. It might be your spouse, it might be your partner, it might be a good friend or a family member. But there is this bond that you share through the kitchen. Now, maybe they cook as well, or maybe they love your food. Maybe this is like your lovely spouse that kind of hangs out with you while you're cooking. You know, they hang out in the kitchen, they clean up the dishes as you are making dinner or whatever. And it just feels like there is a real place here of communication, of togetherness. And, you know, they say often in homes, the kitchen is the heart of the place. And I feel like that is very true for you. You love to be in there. You love to be creating. You're definitely, I can imagine, somebody who explores, right? You have a very kind of developed palate, and you are not one to be constrained by convention or recipes or tradition or anything like that. You're going to do as you please. So you do come up with some interesting concoctions. And I think sometimes that's a real hit, and other times maybe not so much. But that does not deter you, not in the least. Okay, so we also have, it looks like we have a tree here, kind of on a little island, it looks like. But we also have the Omega sign, which is upside down. And so I do feel like this is kind of a place of serenity, a place where you kind of envision yourself going, and this will be where you kind of retire or you like live out your days. I feel like, although, you know, most Taurus people are quite extroverted or have the ability to, you know, kind of communicate with people, and you are personable, you're charming, probably quite attractive, and just really connected to other people. People are drawn to you, and that's the big thing. Ultimately, I think you're probably pretty introverted. You like to be in your own world. You do your own thing. And, you know, when you kind of think of like the perfect place to kind of settle down in your life, and begin this next chapter or a chapter, right? It doesn't involve a lot of people. It kind of is this more solitary quieting. And I think a lot of that has to do with you maybe coming into a place where you can work less, you know, to make money to fund your life and spend more time focused on your passion, whatever that is, right? If you, you know, if you're here, there are a lot of practitioners that I encounter here, diviners, tarot readers, you know, occultists, magicians, people who are quite religious. They, you know, are involved in their whatever denomination or tradition or, you know, system that you're involved in. It seems to be a place here we draw a lot of that kind of energy, and we find each other, don't we? So I feel like this is kind of like your paradise, where you go and you focus on the work that you want to do. And I also imagine quite creative. So maybe an element of spiritual work, maybe an element of creative work mingling together. And you know, I feel like this is something, it is based also in the metaphysical realm here on the rim. So I feel like the universe is really working in your favor so that you can find this place, so that you can, you know, maybe be able to put together some savings so that you can retire. You know, I know a lot of us, the idea of retiring is almost laughable. Like, how? You know, we're barely living paycheck to paycheck. I think the majority of us out here. And but I think that, you know, circumstances shift in such a way that, yeah, maybe you start to be able to kind of really in earnest be able to get closer and closer to at least working part-time, right? Or you know, having the ability to, focus on those passions, those things, you know, you just maybe haven't found time to do yet. Or you have, but you haven't had the time, means, and attention to put into it. And so this is really on your mind. I think you're really thinking about, like, you know, someday soon, hopefully, we'll be getting there, okay? And so I also see, and I was looking up here, it looks like we also have a bird and a nest, okay? So that just, to me, solidifies the fact that, yeah, you're really working on, and, you know, this is kind of on the nose, but that nest egg, right? And the nest egg is, if you have never heard that before, it is money that is put aside to grow, right? To maybe put in the bank where you can, you know, make some interest, or you have it invested and it's creating more money for you. So, you know, getting those things in order, okay? And I think that you have a lot of, it just is a time where you're really thinking about that future stuff that is coming, you know? And I think that at times you can really, you know, be stressed about it, and other times, and I feel like this is where you're at, you can really get a little romantic about it, really kind of whimsical, thinking about those, you know, beautiful afternoons, drinking some tea, sitting in the garden, writing, you know, your great novel, writing your memoirs, painting beautiful pictures, you know, whatever it is. And I think that really motivates you to keep going, okay? Now, we also have the letters I-N, okay? Yes. And I just want to put in, I want to show you here in the middle, we have two people who are embracing one another. So I absolutely feel like there is also this element of love. And we did talk about that with the kitchen. So yeah, it does. I feel like you are splendering in a sense of closeness. Now, is this with another human being? Maybe. It could be. Is it that you have a companion animal in your life that you were beloved with? Yeah, definitely could be that as well. This also might be a sense of self, right? Really courting yourself, really, taking the time to treat yourself well. And, I always like to think of when we're focused on our self-work, our development, our coming into a place of unconditional love, not only for others, but for ourselves. And that's really key. It really is. We might treat ourselves as if we were courting somebody, right? And you might think, what is courting? I know, it's kind of it seems like an old, outmoded term. I like it though. But yes, dating, right? How would we date somebody? Now, not by modern standards, because what I hear about dating is that it's pretty bleak. But, in a romantic, a time of great respect and longing and, just being swept away by, the honoring of one another and the embrace and the gifting and the time, listening and being close to and encouraging and all these things. Now, it usually would come easily for us to apply this to others, to somebody that, we're building a connection with. But when it comes to doing these things with ourselves, it maybe feels a little indulgent. It maybe feels like, kind of self-involved or shameful in some way. It might even be that we just, we get into these kind of internal monologues about self where, we're pretty cruel to ourselves. We're not as, it's easier to be supportive of somebody else than it is ourselves quite often. And that's the unfortunate reality of things. But when we come to the consciousness that, we have to work on this. I got to work on my relationship with myself. I want to, I want to love myself, not only just in words, I want that real deep unconditional love. It does. It takes a courtship. It takes a getting to know. It takes, choosing to show up for yourself over and over and over again. And so I do. I like to think of it as, having kind of a love affair with self. And so when I see this, it might absolutely be that. And, there is no love story greater than the one that we have with ourselves. And you can argue with me on that all day long, but I absolutely believe it. Definitely. So it's something to aspire to, I think. Okay, so we have just a big old lion right there, right in the middle. You can see tail raised and everything, ferocious and beautiful. And so I feel like you are absolutely in this very powerful place. It is fiery, and that fire is growing. There's a sense of sensuality, of creativity, of mastery, and being devoted to the work at hand. Okay. All right. And I know that kind of, I'm thinking that's very solar energy, and it doesn't really necessarily jive with the moon. Although, in reality, absolutely. The sun and the moon are they're counterparts of one another. They are consorts, and gosh, this card is so beautiful. Look at that. It's kind of, it's Artemis, it's Diana. It is just beautiful. I love these depictions of Artemis like this. And then we have the beautiful little lobster or crawdad. And, you know, this one, it represents kind of the melancholy of the moon, right? The kind of blue that it casts upon us. And so, you know, I think that even when we are in these very kind of solar, fiery, passionate places, there's always the aspect of the moon being there, underlying energy. And so it tempers us. It keeps us from kind of going off the rails a little bit. So we're always happy to have her there, right? Now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to flip through and stop where it feels right. Okay, beautiful. It looks like, I don't know, this might be a mosque actually. You can see this right up, and it's hard to maybe see on the camera, but this kind of honeycomb is usually seen in mosques, or well, you know, has been anyways. I don't know that they still make them like that, but it's such a beautiful and fractal kind of, but then the doors, I don't know, they look European. And I can't really tell by the carvings. I always like to guess. I know I'm not an architect. I'm not into interior design that much, but I love temples and old buildings and holy sites and things. I'll just go on and on. It says, change beckons. The path is shifting. The road leads a new way. Do not be alarmed as change beckons today. Yeah, don't be alarmed because it's always coming. Big, little, you know, noticeable or imperceivable. There's always shifting, there's always changing, and, you know, it's the ultimate dagger to really hold on to the idea that we're ever in a fixed state. So be ready for that change always. And that watery energy, I know that you are. Okay, Taurus, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to do these readings for you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. Let's see, what else? If you want to leave, oh yes. If you want to leave a comment, I'm sorry, my brain went somewhere. I was just thinking about personal readings. But yes, if you want to leave a comment, please do. If you are new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments there. So yes, like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment. I swear I can get through this. It's my last reading. So my brain is wandering. I was just thinking, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I'm sure my husband will, I don't know. Anyway, shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. He has been thinking about opening up his private readings. So I know he is going to do that for members, I think. So anyways, don't tell him I told you. But I also am doing private readings. I've had like a kind of onslaught of them recently. And I do love doing them. I usually do them for $200, but this summer I'm doing them for $100. $100 a private reading. So I don't know. If anybody's interested in that, you can definitely email me. The information is in most of the descriptions. I have to make sure that it's back in all of them. There was a glitch in the YouTube videos a few weeks ago, and it deleted a lot of the descriptions and videos. So I have to go back through and make sure they're all good. But But yeah, anyways, I'm doing private readings. I don't usually like to advertise that because, you know, I have ongoing clients and things, and it gets busy. But yeah, so I was just thinking about that. Everything going so quickly. The summer is fully in full swing. It's fully going. We're in there. And hopefully enjoying some days without rain here pretty soon. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it, Taurus. I'm going on and on. I'm going to close up shop here. I'm going to bed. I love you. Good night. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a couple days. Bye-bye.